Anecdotes of Reddit presents, what's your favorite? A man walks into a bar. Joke. A man with authority walks into a bar. He orders everyone around. That one might be better left spoken. Another one. A grizzled old sea captain walks into a bar. He has a peg leg, an eye patch, and a hook hand. The captain sits down and orders a drink. The bartender serves it and asks the captain a question. If you don't mind, how did you get that peg leg? I were chasing the white whale, laddie. Dangerous business. Well, how did you get the hook hand? Yeah, had me a swashbuckling accident. Wow. Well, what about the eye patch? A seagull pooped in me eye. What? Asks the bartender. How did you lose your eye from seagull poop? Yeah, twir me first day with the hook. Two conspiracy theorists walk into a bar. You can't tell me that was just a coincidence, man. Two conspiracy theorists die and go to heaven. Saint Peter tells them they'll each get to ask God one question. The first one steps forward and asks God, who was really behind 9/11? God replies to him 9/11 was perpetrated by a group of individuals who had no respect for human life in a misguided attempt at waging war on the United States. The first conspiracy theorist looks at the other one and says, shit, this goes up higher than I thought. An old blind cowboy wanders into an all-girl biker bar by mistake. He finds his way to a bar stool and orders a shot of Jack Daniels. After sitting there for a while, he yells to the bartender, hey, you wanna hear a blonde joke? The bar immediately falls absolutely silent. In a very deep husky voice, the woman next to him says, before you tell that joke, cowboy, I think it is only fair, given that you are blind, that you should know 5 things. The bartender is a blonde girl with a baseball bat. The bouncer is a blonde girl with a billy club. I'm a 6 foot tall, 175 pound blonde woman with a black belt in karate. The woman sitting next to me is blonde and a professional weightlifter. The lady to your right is blonde and a professional wrestler. Now, think about it seriously, cowboy. Do you still wanna tell that blonde joke? The blind cowboy thinks for a second, shakes his head and mutters, no, not if I'm gonna have to explain it 5 times. A man walks into a bar and orders a whiskey. When the barman serves it up, he takes it out to the bench in front of the bar to drink it. As he's enjoying his drink, a nun walks by and glares at him sourly. How can you pollute your soul with the devil's drink like that? She asks. The man shrugs. It's not the devil, it's just whiskey. But it's sinful and wicked. How do you know it's so bad? Then, have you ever tasted whiskey? Of course not. My sisters and Mother Superior told me how evil drink is. But how do they know? Have they ever had a drink? They go back and forth like this for a while, before at last, the nun relents. Well, I suppose that, if I were to try a sip of whiskey, I would better understand how it corrupts the soul. But it wouldn't do for any of my sisters to come by here and see me drinking. Could you order me one in a teacup? The man agrees this is fair and walks inside to the barman. 2 whiskeys, but put one in a teacup, please. The barman slams his hand down on the bar and shouts, is that damn nun here again? A blind man walks into a bar, then a table, then a chair. And then stumbled to his toolbox, where he picked up his hammer and saw. An Irishman walks into a bar in New York City and orders 3 pints of beer. He drinks each one in turn and walks out. The next night he returns and again orders 3 pints of beer, and then again the next night. The bartender offers to serve them consecutively so they won't go flat, but the Irishman explains, I'd rather see them all lined up before me. I left 2 brothers behind in Ireland, and since we used to meet at the pub every night and have a pint together, I feel closer to them when I come drink my pint and there too. This goes on for a year, and then one night, the Irishman fails to come in. The regulars are concerned and then saddened when he returns a few nights later and orders only 2 pints of beer. When the bartender serves him, he says, I see you didn't order a beer for one of your brothers. My condolences on your loss. My brothers are still alive. The Irishman says, I didn't order my own beer. My wife made me promise to give up drinking. A man walks into a bar, orders a drink, downs it really quickly, orders another, downs it one too. The bartender says, hey, buddy, are you okay? The man says no, honestly, I'm not. I wanted to surprise my wife, and I caught her in bed with another man. The bartender says, oh, man, that's awful. What are you going to do? The man, I'm gonna drink myself to death. I just want to die. Bartender, that's not what I'd do. If I caught another man with my wife, I'd kill the bastard. The man, hey, that's it. Thanks. The man leaves and comes back an hour later. The bartender asks, so, did you do it? Did you kill a guy? The man, big smile on his face, says no, I fucked your wife. Edit, thank you for the silver and gold, kind Redditors. Guy walks into a bar and orders 30 shots of their most expensive whiskey. As the bartender is setting up the shots, the man starts knocking them back like crazy. Kept right up until he drank every one. Bartender says, I have never seen someone drink like that. Guy says, if you had what I had, you'd drink like that too. What do you have? About 50 cents. An Englishman, Scotsman, and Irishman walk into a bar and begin drinking. Soon they noticed a large glass vase of gold coins in the corner and asked the barman what was it there for. The barman told them that there is a prize for anyone who can 1. Drink a full bottle of tequila in 2 minutes. 2. Go into that room over there with a lion inside and pull a thorn from the lion's foot. 3. Finally go upstairs and make love to a 100-year-old woman. The prize money was too much for the men to pass over, so they agreed to try. The Englishman goes first, but after only half the tequila he collapses drunk. The Scotsman is next. He downs the tequila and staggers to the lion's room. The door is closed, and there is a massive scream, and soon afterwards he stumbles back out of the room with his hand bitten off. The Irishman drinks the tequila and stumbles towards the lion's room. The door is closed behind him, and almost immediately there are massive screams and shouts coming from behind the door, screams which last for nearly 10 minutes. There is banging up against the sides of the door and everything, and then silence. The Irishman emerges battered, bleeding and torn. Now, he says, where is that lady with a thorn in her foot? A priest, a Baptist and a rabbi walk into a bar and start getting sloshed. They decide that they need to test their faith to see which one is the best. They decide the ultimate challenge is to see if they can convert a bear. So the next day they all go out into the wood to try and meet up again at the bar that night. The priest comes in with a broken arm and scratches all over his body and smilingly says, I had to run around the bear and read him the entire Bible, but he saw the light, and he was converted. The Baptist is on crutches with 2 broken legs and a broken arm and his head all bandaged. He says, I had to wrestle that bear to the ground and baptize him in the stream, but he saw the light, and he was converted. Hallelujah. Then the rabbi gets wheeled in a full body cast. He says, yeah, I know, in retrospect, I probably shouldn't have started with circumcision. A man walks into a bar with a bag and orders a drink. After a while, the bartender asks him what is in the bag. The man says nothing, don't worry about it. The night continues, and the bartender keeps asking, but the man keeps giving him the same answer. Towards the end of the night, the bartender offers the man a free beer if the man shows him what is in the bag. The man agrees. He reaches into the bag and pulls out a tiny piano and a tiny man that sits down and starts playing the piano. The bartender says, wow, that's amazing. Where did you find this guy? The man looks up and says, I have this magic lamp that grants me wishes, but the stupid thing is broken. The man then hands the bartender the lamp and says, you can try it if you want. The bartender happily grabs the lamp and wishes for $1,000,000, and the room is suddenly filled with $1,000,000. This thing is definitely broken, says the bartender. The man replies, tell me about it. Do you really think I wished for a 12-inch pianist? A cowboy rode into town and stopped at a saloon for a drink. Unfortunately, the locals always had a habit of picking on strangers, which he was. When he finished his drink, he found his horse had been stolen. He went back into the bar, handily flipped his gun into the air, caught it above his head without even looking, and fired a shot into the ceiling. Which one of you sidewinders stole my horse? He yelled with surprising forcefulness. No one answered. Alright, I'm gonna have another beer, and if my horse ain't back outside by the time I finish, I'm gonna do what I done in Texas. And I don't like to have to do what I done in Texas. Some of the locals shifted restlessly. The man, true to his word, had another beer, walked outside, and his horse has been returned to the post. He saddled up and started to ride out of town. The bartender wandered out of the bar and asked, "Say partner, before you go, what happened in Texas?" The cowboy turned back and said, "I had to walk home." A guy walks into a bar and sees a sign that reads, "Cheese sandwich, $2.50. Chicken sandwich, $3.50. Hand job, $10. He checks his wallet and says to the sexy bartender, "Are you the one who gives the hand jobs?" He asks. "Yes," she purrs. "I am." "Well, wash your frickin' hands," says the man. "I want a cheese sandwich."